Happy New Year! Let's go over my personal top 25 favorite horror movies. I usually do top 10s, but I saw over 60 horror movies, which is probably peanuts to some of you who watch hundreds, but I watched over 60 and most of them were good, so I recommend all these movies. Um, and I'm not going to say too much about each of them because this video would be way too long, and I didn't write any notes for any of them. I'm going to correct that this year. I'm going to write notes for every movie I watched this year. I did not write any notes for any of these movies, so I'm going off of memory. I'm just going to read you like a plot synopsis for each one and maybe just give you one thing that I remember liking about each movie. So, one or two things. So, my 25 favorite horror movies of 2021. Number 25 will go to a movie with Megan Fox that came out on Netflix, I believe, and that is Till Death. This one is about a couple. After a romantic evening at their scheduled lake house, a woman wakes up handcuffed to her dead husband. Trapped and isolated in the dead of winter, she must fight off hired killers to escape her late spouse's twisted plan. Now, what I love the most about this movie is the premise. Waking up handcuffed to your husband who just shoots himself randomly. He knows that she's been fooling around, and now she's just stuck out there and has to fight to survive. So, great premise. Megan Fox's performance isn't the best, but I really enjoyed it. So, check out Till Death. Number 24 is a movie I was really looking forward to, my biggest anticipated film of 2021 and 2020 when it was supposed to come out. And the more I watch this movie, the more problems I find in it, and that is Halloween Kills. This movie, the nightmare isn't over as unstoppable killer Michael Myers escapes from Laurie Strode's trap to continue his ritual bloodbath. And I'll just stop there. There's like a whole paragraph. It's Michael Myers killing people, and there's a mob after him. That's the plot. So, what I love the most about this movie is Michael Myers, his kills, some of the gore, the score, and the cinematography looks good. It's got that Halloween atmosphere. They correct a couple of mistakes that Halloween 2018 did, but overall, I enjoy Halloween 2018 more. So, yeah, this one was one of my more disappointing films of 2021. So, it's sitting all the way down here at number 24, but still I recommend. Number 23 will go to a movie that will hopefully just be the last of this series. It doesn't need to continue, and that is The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. So, paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren encounter what would become one of the most sensational cases from their files. The fight for the soul of a young boy takes them beyond anything they'd ever seen before to mark the first time in U.S. history that a murder suspect would claim demonic possession as a defense. So, the biggest thing I like about this one is Ed and Lorraine. The characters are just as good as they are in part 1 and 2. The performances, I like these actors, Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga. It's got a couple of cool, eerie sequences in it. It's not the best Conjuring, it's my least favorite, but still a good movie. It's just nowhere near the best. I think the first two are damn near flawless, and this one is a bit of a drop off. I still give it like 3.5 out of 5. It's enjoyable. Give it a watch. Number 22 will be a Netflix movie starring Kate Siegel, and that is Hypnotic. So, a young woman seeking self improvement enlists the help of a renowned hypnotist, but after a handful of intense sessions, discovers unexpected and deadly consequences. Another movie with a intriguing premise. I really like the idea here. They could have did much more darker things with it, has some cooler kills with it. The opening made it look like they were going to have some cool death scenes throughout, but it's kind of tame, but just the premise, the performance by the antagonist and Kate Siegel are the best parts of this movie. There's some twists and turns, some really predictable, but still a fun movie. I really enjoyed it. I was engaged from beginning to end. So check out Hypnotic on Netflix. Number 21 will go to Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. This is following a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas. A group of mercenaries take the ultimate gamble, venturing into the quarantine zone to pull off the greatest heist ever attempted. So we got two genres of films kind of blended in here. We got heist robbery movies mixed with zombie outbreak movies, and I like it. It's got some fun characters, it's funny, it's really gory at times, it's a little long, but still just very enjoyable. And I couldn't believe when I heard that there was an actor taken out of the movie with like, CGI. They put some other actress in. That blew me away. I had no idea when I watched the movie. I found that out afterwards. Number 20, a film by David Bruckner, and that is The Night House. Reeling from the unexpected death of her husband, Beth is left alone in the lakeside home he built for her. Soon she begins to uncover her recently deceased husband's disturbing secrets. Another intriguing film from beginning to end, just wondering what the hell is going on. It's a little convoluted. They're like, what the hell? Is it supernatural? Is it psychological? I'm more on the supernatural side by the end of it. I think what she saw really happened and what's going on. So uh, another great performance by Rebecca Hall, and is streaming on Prime, but you have to rent it right now. It's not on Netflix, but check it out. Number 19, a sequel to a movie that did not need a sequel, but I still really enjoyed this one. It's not quite as masterful as the first one is to me, and that is Don't Breathe Part 2. The blind man has been hiding out for several years in an isolated cabin and has taken in and raised a young girl orphaned from a devastating house fire. Their quiet life together is shattered when a group of criminals kidnap the girl, forcing the blind man to leave his safe haven to save her. So it's got like an action movie plot. We gotta go save the girl, save the princess. But I really enjoyed it. I got a review out for this movie, so you can go check out that review. Stephen Lang is great as the blind man once again. Beautiful cinematography, just lots of cool shots, vicious kills. The blind man kicks ass. Number 18, we'll go to a movie called Censor. This is about a film censor named Enid who takes pride in her meticulous work guarding unsuspecting audiences from the deleterious effects of watching the gore-filled decapitations and eye gougings she pours over. And her sense of duty to protect is amplified by guilt over her inability to recall details of the long ago disappearance of her sister, recently declared dead in absentia. So when Enid is assigned to review a disturbing film from the archive that echoes her hazy childhood memories, she begins to unravel as this eerie work might be tied to her past. So yeah, interesting film. Lots of colorful cinematography. It's a beautiful film to look at. It's got some gore and it has lots of actual footage of early 80s horror movies that I recognized. It's a really interesting movie. It's a bit of a head scratcher, but it kind of like blurs the lines between reality and fiction. You're not sure what the hell was actually happening. It's kind of confusing, but definitely intriguing and engaging, and another good lead performance here. Number 17 is a movie from the directors of Inside, and that is The Deep House. While diving in a remote French lake, a couple of YouTubers who specialize in underwater exploration videos discover a house submerged in the deep waters. What was initially a unique finding soon turns into a nightmare when they discover that the house was the scene of atrocious crimes. So we got a haunted house movie underwater. It's like 47 meters down, meets your typical haunted house movie because they got oxygen tanks, they're scuba divers, they're running out of oxygen. The more scared they get, the more they hyperventilate, they're using up their oxygen. It's the ticking clock situation. They gotta get out of there, they're trapped. It's a great premise, brilliant, and I just really enjoyed it. It's got a bit of a downer ending that's foreshadowed in the beginning, and I fucking just really liked the characters also. High recommendation. Check out The Deep House. Number 16, we'll go to Psycho Goreman, a movie done by an effects artist who I think did work on Leprechaun Returns. And this is a very strange film. So, siblings Mimi and Luke unwittingly resurrect an ancient alien overlord using a magical amulet. They force the monster to obey their childish whims and accidentally attract a rogues gallery of intergalactic assassins to small town suburbia. Yeah, very bizarre film. It's not to be taken seriously. It's very much a horror comedy, much more comedy than horror, but lots of gory, cool effects. And the little kid actress is very entertaining. She's a really good little kid actress who gives just a really fun performance and just has a lot of funny dialogue. So it's really humorous and just not everyone's kind of film. So if you like horror comedies, I definitely recommend this. But if you don't like goofy, over the top stuff, then stay away from this one. Number 15, we'll go to another Netflix movie called Blood Sky Red. A woman with a mysterious illness is forced into action when a group of terrorists attempt to hijack a transatlantic overnight flight. In order to protect her son, she will have to reveal a dark secret and unleash the inner monster she has fought to hide. So, I'm pretty sure everyone knows by now this is a vampire movie. So I'll just say that it's a vampire movie on an airplane. Another great premise. Like, this is the year of great premises. I'm just now realizing that. Lots of really cool premises. Just vampire on an airplane. They're just stuck. I like that kind of setting in a horror movie where people are just kind of trapped in a claustrophobic, tight area. Just like, the Descent, just stuck in caves. Like, they're stuck in the air, nowhere to go. You can't just jump out. There's a fucking vampire unleashing havoc, and you got these terrorists thrown in, and then some of the terrorists get turned into vampires, and it just gets crazy and crazy as the film goes on. Next up is a movie that's barely horror. It's more of a crime thriller drama with some horrific stuff in it. Some violent deaths in it. But that's Guillermo del Toro's Nightmare Alley. It's a long movie. It's 2.5 hours long, so it's not going to be for everyone if you don't like long movies. This is an ambitious young carny with a talent for manipulating people with a few well-chosen words, hooks up with a female psychiatrist who is even more dangerous than he is. This one, it's a very long movie, but it's got a top-notch cast, just lots of great actors and actresses. Toni Collette, Bradley Cooper, and really fantastic set designs. Very phenomenal set designs. The look of the movie, very well shot. Another great Del Toro film, but not his best. Next up is a movie it's a found footage mockumentary kind of movie, like Lake Mungo. It's called Howard's Mill. An abandoned piece of farmland in rural Tennessee may hold the key to multiple missing person cases spanning over 40 years. This one really surprised me. Again, it's just the premise, the way the story unfolds, that just had me so interested to see how it was going to wrap up, what the explanation was going to be. And it's one of those movies that when it hits the end, it kind of leaves it open for interpretation. Like, so was it this? Was it this? And it goes in directions that I did not see coming. Number 12 is a movie that seems to be hated mostly, but I had a blast. I went in with low expectations. It's a Nicolas Cage film called Willys Wonderland. Five Nights at Freddy's wannabe film here, very similar to that game, but it's basically Five Nights at Freddy's. So we got Nicolas Cage, and it's about when his car breaks down, a quiet loner agrees to clean an abandoned family fun center in exchange for repairs. He soon finds himself waging war against possessed animatronic mascots while trapped inside Willys Wonderland. Interesting fact, Nicolas Cage is the star of this movie, and he says 0 words. He does not say a single goddamn word in this movie, but still his performance is great. I just love his nuances. He's playing pinball and he's dancing. Like, I just had a blast with his character and how much of a badass he was. Like, he takes down these mascots like it's nothing, and he's not even fazed by it. Like, it doesn't surprise him that these things are coming to life. It's hysterical. It's funny as hell. Check it out on Prime. Number 11 is not for everyone. It's a family horror movie, and that is Night Books. I believe this is on Netflix. A boy obsessed with scary stories is trapped by a witch in her modern, magical New York City apartment. His original hair-raising tales are the only things keeping him safe as he desperately tries to find a way out of this twisted place. So, interesting premise. This boy is forced to write scary stories every day, or the witch is going to kill him. And meanwhile, as he's writing these stories, he's investigating the origins of this witch, how he can defeat her, how he can get out, and the way it wraps up at the end was just really well done, well executed, beautifully shot, good cinematography, and good performances by these kids. If these kids were shit actors, this movie would not work. Top 10. Number 10 is a film that I already reviewed, one of the first reviews I did in 2021. It's a franchise film. It's a remake, and it's my favorite in this franchise. Call me crazy if you want, I don't care. And that is the Wrong Turn remake, or Wrong Turn, The Foundation. So Jen and a group of friends set out to hike the Appalachian Trail. Despite warnings to stick to the trail, the hikers stray off course and cross into land inhabited by the Foundation, a hidden community of mountain dwellers who use deadly means to protect their way of life. What I like about this movie is the ending is kick-ass. It's a fist pump ending. I heard it was an alternate ending they shot at the last second. It was going to be a downer ending, but then we got this instead. Thank God. Awesome ending. Love the protagonist. The final girl kicks ass. One of the best final girls in recent years. And just I like how it kind of subverts expectations. You think it's going to go this way, but then it goes this way. It pulls the rug out from under you. It's got a couple of good gory kills in it, and to me it's the best entry in this franchise that just went downhill after the first couple. Number 9 is a movie that says it came out in 2020. I guess I should have said this at the beginning. There's going to be movies on this list that might say 2019 or released in 2020, but if it got a wide release in 2021, then it counts to me. There's a movie later on that was theatrically released in 2021, but it says on Letterboxd 2020. That doesn't make sense, but whatever. This one says 2020, but it's 2021, and that is Hunted. This is a very simple story. It's a woman who flees 2 serial killers who are hot on her heels in a forest. That's all we got here for the plot summary here on Letterboxd. It's a woman being chased through the woods, but then there's a turning point where she like snaps and she's crazy just like them, and like she starts chasing them. And just the killer in this movie is another highlight. Just the performance there, his weirdness, the dialogue was just wacky. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's what really helps the film. It's the weird tone and where it goes in the second half. Next up is another sequel that didn't really need to happen. We didn't need a sequel to this masterful film, and that is A Quiet Place 2. The first one is a masterpiece to me. This one was great, but nowhere near as masterful as the first one. And this is the movie I was just talking about that says that it came out in 2020 on Letterboxd. But I remember it got pushed to 2021. It did not hit the theaters until 2021. Maybe it was shown to critics in 2020, but it got pushed. So I don't know why it says 2020. It's 2021. So A Quiet Place Part 2, another great alien creature feature with Emily Blunt, good performances, beautifully shot by her husband, John Krasinski. Just doesn't capture the magic of the first one and the tension. It doesn't raise as much suspense as the first one did. This one's not as great, but still pretty damn good. Next up is a movie by a director that a lot of people like to hate, and that is M. Night Shyamalan's Old. I believe I did a review for this one also, and A Quiet Place Part 2, and Don't Breathe 2, so you can check out my reviews for those movies. This one is a family on a tropical holiday discovers that the secluded beach where they are staying is somehow causing them to age rapidly, reducing their entire lives into a single day. Another great premise. It's a head scratcher, like what the fuck's going on? How is this happening? Then you get the explanation, love it or hate it. I get what the motivation is at the end. Thought it was really interesting. I thought it had a really creepy, cool scene in the cave towards the end. So there's some cool, scary scenes in the movie, and it's just got another great premise and a beautiful atmosphere. Love the beach setting. Some familiar faces here: Alex Wolff and Thomasin McKenzie, who just did Last Night in Soho. So good cast. A little underrated because it seems like it's getting a lot more negative reviews than positive reviews. Speaking of Thomasin McKenzie, next up is Last Night in Soho by Edgar Wright. A young girl passionate about fashion design is mysteriously able to enter the 1960s where she encounters her idol, a dazzling wannabe singer. But 1960s London is not what it seems, and time seems to be falling apart with shady consequences. So this is a murder mystery / time travel movie that's very intriguing. Another movie with great performances, Thomasin McKenzie, the score of the film, the way it's shot. It's just a beautifully shot film and has a twist ending that I did not see coming. Top 5. Number 5 is a movie on Shudder right now, I think. It's a movie that says 2020, but I'm pretty sure it got a wide release this year. And that is Vicious Fun. A loser whose life is passing him by accidentally stumbles into a secret underground self-help group for serial killers, stuck with only two options: kill or be killed. This is very much a horror comedy, and the lead actor in this movie is just terrific. I thought he was really funny, had good comedic timing. The jokes land. There's some bloody kills. I don't think it's not too gory. Some of the killers get dispatched rather quickly. I wish there would have been more time with some of these antagonists. It's like, one guy versus like 5 or 6, and some of them get taken out a little too quickly, but it's very fast paced and entertaining. Check out Vicious Fun. Number 4 is a movie that's vicious fun as well, and that is Benny Loves You, another horror comedy. That's not going to be for everyone. Jack, a man desperate to improve his life, throws away his beloved childhood plush Benny. It's a move that has disastrous consequences when Benny springs to life with deadly intentions. This is a movie that actually had me like busting out loud laughing, like sides hurting. Like, this was hysterical. Funniest movie of the year. Not going to be for everyone, but just seeing toys fight each other and toys slice people up, kill dogs, and kill children in the opening. So we got dogs getting killed, we got kids getting killed. Everyone is on the table. Everyone can be killed in this movie. This movie is fucking gory and fantastic, highly entertaining and rewatchable. And this is another film that says that it came out in 2019, but I'm pretty damn sure it did not get released until 2021. Number 3 is a Netflix horror comedy. It's a foreign film. I believe it's Norwegian, and I think it's from the guy who did Dead Snow, I think, and it is The Trip. A dysfunctional couple head to a remote lakeside cabin under the guise of reconnecting, but each has secret designs to kill the other. Before they can carry out their respective plans, unexpected visitors arrive, and the couple is faced with a greater danger than anything they could have plotted. So, yeah, you get that twist in the middle, which that kind of spoils. There's these two people trying to kill each other, but then there's other people breaking out of jail that crash there, and now they have to protect each other after just trying to kill each other. Now they have to protect one another. It's just another funny horror comedy with just great characters and good performances here. Very bloody and over the top towards the end. It just gets gory and sickening, and I just love the way this movie wrapped up at the end. It was just one of my favorite surprising films of the year. So number 3, The Trip. Number 2 is a film called Saint Maud, and this came out in 2021, despite what Letterboxd says. It says 2019, but it's 2021. This was the directorial debut, I believe, for this director, Rose Glass, and this is a kind of a slow burn character study about a nurse named Maud. Having recently found God, young nurse Maud arrives at a home to care for Amanda, a dancer left frail from a chronic illness, and when a chance encounter with a former colleague throws up hints of a dark past, it becomes clear that there is more to sweet Maud than meets the eye. This movie just gets darker and weirder as the movie goes on. It's a movie that sticks with you. It's not going to be for everyone because it's kind of a slow burn. It's only 80-some minutes long, but the lead actress here gives a phenomenal performance. It's really eerie at times. There's a CPR scene that makes you cringe. Great sound design, good score, good cinematography, a haunting ending. Just the last shot was just like jarring at first, and it just scared me. It's a great ending. I just love this movie. It's a character study, and I really love this main character that we're following. But number 1 goes to a film that I've seen 3-4 times now, and I saw it at the theater with my dad. Loved it then. Probably going to do a review for it soon, maybe. And that is James Wan's Malignant. Madison is paralyzed by shocking visions of grisly murders, and her torment worsens as she discovers that these waking dreams are in fact terrifying realities. What I love the most about this movie is its balls. It takes risks. This twist in the third act, you might see some of the twists coming, like you might be able to predict that it's maybe this, but I don't think anyone can predict what ultimately happens once this twist is revealed. Like, if you somehow predicted what was happening, you couldn't predict what happens thereafter. It gets bonkers. It's gory, it's over the top. The twist was amazing. It's a make it or break it situation. It's going to make you either hate the film, like this is too much, or you're going to be like, that's awesome, that's risky, did not see that coming. I predicted like half the twist, but not the other half. I was like, I think it's this, and it kind of was, but then this was revealed. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting it to be like that. So it got me. Very engaging, good performances, beautifully shot by James Wan. I love the atmosphere of the film, and my favorite score of 2021 goes to this movie. The guy who did other James Wan's movies, Joseph Bashara, I think is his name. I bought the vinyl. I love the score. It has a "Don't Torture a Duckling" sound in the opening. Very similar cues to "Don't Torture a Duckling." And this movie very much plays out like a giallo. You got the police detectives, the killer with the black leather gloves. If you love giallos, you gotta check out this movie. And if you love James Wan movies, you gotta check it out. And if you just like weird movies that just have twisted twists in the movies, you gotta check this movie out. It's fantastic. I love it. So Malignant is my number one. What is your favorite horror movie of 2021? What is your top 10, 25? Let me know. And if you like what you've seen here, you can hit this like button and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And remember, it's all an opinion. You don't need to get upset about it.